Okay, so let's do this. Week 3 of the webinar of the 8-week self-care series here. Thanks for being here. Let's just dive right in. My intention for this call is just one word. I don't know if you guys set yours already today, the email I sent you. My intention is compassion. What is compassion? It's being able to put yourself into other people's shoes and just be totally okay and understand them. And it's like even above empathy. It's just being present with them and, not diving into the whole despair with them, but just being with them and listening and loving them no matter what. Important about compassion is, yes, you have to have compassion for other people, but you need to have compassion for yourself mostly, so you can stop beating yourself up. Just give yourself some slack. If you can't do something, you can't do something. And actually, that was week 1's tip, was say no. The ability to say no, when somebody asks you to do something and if you can't say no, then at least the second tip is respect your limits. So if you can't say no, then at least say, well, okay, if a friend asks you to do something for them, they say, okay, listen, I can't do it now, but can I do it later? Can I do it tomorrow? It's something as simple as just negotiating with them. So that's really important. Number 3 today is do something you love every day. So if you do something you love every day, it makes you a happier person, and do it guilt-free. Now you might say, well, I don't know, what do I like, and I don't have time. And well, we have to make time to do things that we love because it makes us happy. We need to do it guilt-free. When we're little girls, little babies even, we're coddled in these beautiful little pink blankets, and we're given this big dosage of guilt. It's like we're taught as little girls, little babies, little girls, young adults, that our needs are not important, that everybody else's needs are important. So hopefully this self-care series helps you to say no, respect your limits, and to start doing something you love every day. The other thing I wanted to talk about today was anxiety. Has anybody had any anxiety attacks in the last couple of days, last couple of weeks? Or close to? I'd love to hear, I'd love for you to share if you want when I open it up for question and answer, what's going on for you. And I'd like to talk a little bit about why it's so important to stay calm. Why is it so important not to go over the edge? We have this thing that's called the stress response in our body. It's that fight or flight. Well, we're not meant to go into fight or flight all the time, numerous times a day, and then sit and do nothing and let it fester. When we go into the stress response, the fight or flight, or there's a third one, even freeze, our body secretes this hormone called cortisol. And cortisol is like battery acid on our organs. It's so corrosive. It's so bad. And our organs, like the liver, has to pick it up like a broom picking up, like a mop picking up all this this battery acid, and it wears down the liver over time. So and the other organs as well. So it's really important to catch yourself when you get some bad news or whatever. Catch yourself. And I found something really neat on Facebook, and I'd like to share it with you. Something you can do to help you to not get into a full-blown panic attack. So first of all, take a deep breath. You take a nice deep breath in and exhale. Ideally with your mouth open, it helps, because at the beginning that's what it looks like and sounds like when you first have a freak out. You're breathing in, and then you're like until you can do a few and to bring it down. And then slowly look around and find 5 things you can see. So you look around and you go, okay, I can see that house over there, I can see that car, I can see that computer, I can see that desk, or whatever. 5 things. And then look around and look for 4 things you can touch. So there's 4 things that you can touch and really feel those textures. You know, feel maybe rub your arms, or, you know, rub your hair a little bit, but gently, and you know, maybe rub your hands together. Those 4 things you can touch. And then 3 things you can hear. So open up your hearing and say, okay, what can I hear? Okay, there's something over there and something over here, a little tick here. That's 3 things you can hear. And then 2 things you can smell. And if nothing you're smelling is very interesting, then imagine smells that you do like lavender or eucalyptus or something. And then 1 emotion you feel. So just get a sensing in your body, like, what is that? Is that fear? Is that frustration? Is that anxiety? You know, something you can feel within your body. So just a little review. If ever you think you're going to go into a panic attack, take a deep breath, inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth, and then slowly look around and find 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can feel. This exercise is called grounding. Another great thing to do when we're anxious and, you know, our mind is running off is exercise. Exercise actually helps to spend that energy that we've just, you know, created in our body, because the stress response actually, it makes us move. It either immobilizes us completely, which is like you stay as quiet as you can because you're like, this is the frozen one. So you stay as quiet as you can because you don't want anybody to see you, anybody to hear you, right? You might be hiding or something. And that's one. But the hormones are still raging. You're still going like crazy with these stress hormones. But the other ones, the fight or flight, they are meant to give you the strength to fight off the predator or the situation or run from it. So the whole idea is to actually spend that. Now you do have a little window of when you have that stress response, when you have that part that goes, ah, but if you catch it in time, if you do the exercise of just grounding and breathing, then the full-on hormone cortisol release throughout the whole body actually gets stopped. So you want to stop yourself as soon as you have that negative thought that creates that emotional craziness, and then you know the heart the heart's beating like crazy. So you want to stop that and go, okay, whoa, wait a second. That is a possibility, but it might not happen. So let's just breathe and calm down. Because when you start visualizing all these negative thoughts, that's the slippery slope to nowhere. You know, so you want to grab onto your thoughts. So there is a window of opportunity where you can stop it, and the hormone does not get secreted in the body. Keeping our immune system is really important to stay healthy. It comes down to our emotional state, because when we go into fight or flight, when we get stressed out, our body starts, you know, like all the blood rushes to the extremities because it thinks it has to fight or flight. So all the blood. So the blood actually leaves the digestive system. It leaves the heart area. It leaves the lungs. So it basically, the rest and repair part of the body, the calming part of the body, is sending all its resources to the arms and legs and feet, and it's depriving itself. So your digestion goes crazy. If you ever have any digestive issues, check out your stress level. If you're constantly stressed, chances are your digestive system is whacked. It also reproduce. So it's the rest, repair, reproduce system. That's the parasympathetic nervous system. The other one is the sympathetic nervous system, the stress response. So the parasympathetic, think of it as P for peace and S for stress. So the parasympathetic nervous system is there to help you. So if you can catch it and not go into that stress response, you're going to bring the blood back into the torso, back into your brain, And speaking of brain, when the blood is flowing and everything's moving, then your frontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that actually helps you make good decisions, comes back online. But when we get stressed, guess what? It goes offline. We cannot make decisions. That's why you end up making really bad decisions when we are stressed. Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever noticed you make really bad decisions when, excuse my language, but the shit hits the fan? Have you ever noticed that? Well, that is exactly why, because the prefrontal cortex, where the thinking part of the brain, which is the recently evolved brain, it makes the decisions. So that just goes offline and we become like idiots, making really bad decisions. So breathe and exhale through your mouth, like I should do right now. I'm so grateful you are here. For those of you who showed up, and those of you who are listening to the replay, please share it with your friends and your family. And I'll see you next week for